Now, I know what you might be thinking after reading the title of this video. You think I'm about to, sit here and bash social media and go on and on. That's not the case. I'm actually not going to be doing that. I'm kind of going to be doing the opposite. So, to give you context, if you're new to the show, over the last 6 months, Brandon and myself, we've kind of been maybe bashing social media a little bit. We're really just trying to advocate the importance of going the traditional route and establishing your referral partners, honing in on your client journey, and making sure that you squeeze the juice out of it to get more past client referrals, because that's really the low hanging fruit here. Social media has its place, and I actually really do think it's a very important thing to focus on, more so over the last month after having our couple of guests on that we've had on the show. It's really opened my eyes up to social media again. And I know I sound like a broken record here, kind of going back and forth and being pro social, non social. But if you go back to previous episodes, I've always said that the importance of social media is, if you were to really break it down, if I had to pick what I would be doing, I would either be doing long form content, so YouTube or podcasting, or if I'm going to be doing short form content, I'm going to be focusing in on the DMs and another portion, which I'm going to talk about here today. But what you're going to get out of this video, this podcast episode is, well, first of all, it's just me today, just solo Tom. There's no Brandon today. Over the next couple weeks, I believe he might be doing a solo. We might be doing a dual. This is going to be unedited. Usually Nikki has this nice and polished, so it's not going to be as polished as it should be. As you can see, I'm already stuttering here. The reason being is because with our contract, we only do have a certain amount of episodes per year that we pay for, and we have a 4-week gap. So what we're going to do is we're going to pump out some content over the next 3 to 4 weeks on unedited, unpolished. And this one today, I'm going to be talking about social media and what I'm doing going forward. And yes, I'm jumping back in, but don't get ahead of yourself. I'm not going to be out there and starting up another podcast. That is the last thing I'm doing right now. But what I'm doing is I kind of revived my Instagram account over the last week. It's been 7 days. And what I've been trying to really figure out is the angle and the approach that I want to go with social. So to give you context, I was torn on this over the last maybe 3 weeks. I've been thinking about, okay, I want to go back into social, but like, what's the point? What's the reasoning? Why am I doing this? And for me, it's a two-pronged approach. I, of course, want to grow my mortgage biz, but I also want to bring more awareness and attention to my brokerage, Tango. And the problem being with that is that's two different avatars, right? You have your clients, consumers, you have your realtor partners. Well, in my case, it was mainly realtor partners. And then you also have mortgage agents that, like, to be quite honest, I also want to really target them because I want to showcase what Tango has to offer, because I truly do think we have an amazing offer. And the growth we've had over the last, since August, we opened up in August in Ontario, the growth we've had is pretty good. I don't really have anything else to compare it to, but based off of what the lenders and the BDMs have been saying to us, is that we're growing at a very rapid pace. We're at 28 agents today and just shy of 400 million. So that's without social. That's why I'm like, man, I really want to hone in on social, get our name out there and showcase what we have to offer, because a lot of the time we're having these meetings with agents and they're like, man, I had no idea this was your offering. Like, why didn't you talk to me about this before? So that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to go back to social, and specifically Instagram, because hey, you, the listener, as a mortgage agent, mortgage broker, you probably have an Instagram account. You probably live there for the most part. So I want to go back to it. It's my favorite platform from a short form content perspective. But not only that, I started creating a new account, and I had my old mortgage account, and then I had my new account that was solely geared towards B2B, focusing in on the mortgage agents and brokers. The problem with that is I started doing that, and you might be listening thinking, I saw that account, Tom. I had no idea what the fuck you were doing there. And it's true. I was kind of like just a little confused and torn as to what direction to go, until I actually had a conversation with the owner of Real Brokerage, which is, if you haven't heard of them, they're kind of like a different model of the EXP model, but in my opinion, they're better. And they're a realtor brokerage that started in the States. They're huge at this point. I think they have like 10,000 realtors, and they've expanded to Canada recently. And you've probably seen some of your realtor partners join Real, like they're becoming pretty big. And the owner, Sharon, I messaged him on social media. It was actually on one of his, he has a school community, and he answered me. And we had a conversation going back and forth. And I told him my situation. I was like, hey, man, like, this is my situation. I still want to grow my mortgage biz, but I also really want to focus in on my brokerage. What angle do you think I should go with? Like, do you think I should have it all in one account, or should I have two separate accounts? And he's like, man, you're making it too complicated. Just post what you feel is what you want to do that day, and whatever sticks is kind of what you focus in on. So I'm like, all right, let's try it out. So I go back to my old account, which had just over 3,000 followers on Instagram, and I started doing my same methods that I was doing before. And to give you context as to what those were, if you haven't listened to past episodes, I did a full episode of masterclass on Instagram and how to actually get business from it, and it works. What I was doing was I was funneling all these realtors to my broadcast channel. And again, if you don't know what a broadcast channel is, just go back to one of the previous episodes. I believe it's episode probably around the episode 37 mark. But anyways, I'm going back to my broadcast channel. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start this back up. I'm going to post more regular content towards it. And I'm going to keep adding some realtors into this group. So I'm going to pull up some stats here. And this is brand new for me, by the way, like in terms of reviving this account. I'm 7 days in and I'm going to, so I started at 306 in my broadcast channel. This is realtors in my broadcast channel, and some of you are in there. So, there's a portion of mortgage brokers in there, but hey, I'm okay with that. You guys can kind of see what I'm doing. Broadcast channel was 306 realtors or people on the channel. And as of today, I've added 24. This is 7 days. I've added 24 realtors to that channel. I started my followers at 3181, so 3,181. 7 days later, today, as of today, right now, I have added 177 followers. And if you term that out for a full year, let's just say I was keeping that pace and I was getting 177 followers a week, then that would be 9,204 followers a year. Now, obviously, that pace, that clips of 177 a week, that's probably not going to stay. But even if it's 100, that's 5,200 people a year. Like, that's 5,200 followers. You think out of all of those followers, and by the way, these followers are all realtors and some mortgage brokers. Like, all I'm doing, it's so fucking easy. And nobody talks about this on, like, I'm always on YouTube. I'm always trying to learn, but nobody talks about this method. And I don't know if it's because like some of these social media gurus are like holding their cards tight or close. I have no idea, but it's so easy. All you do, you have to have a polished profile, like have some good content on there to start off with, at least 9 posts, and have the verified check mark. You got to be meta verified because then it shows you're legit. Have a clean Instagram username, have a clean bio, showcase exactly who you are, what you do, and then just go follow people. Like literally go follow realtors. So my main focus of my Instagram, to really just go back a second, is to to connect with realtor partners, connect with mortgage agents and brokers, and stay top of mind with my clients, my mortgage clients. It's that easy. I don't really plan on trying to get this crazy virality and these crazy amount of views with my reels. To really circle back on the title of this episode, I really mean it when I say it doesn't matter how many views you get. And what I mean by that is you shouldn't just put all of your effort in on having this like highly polished reel, because at the end of the day, it's like the Instagram algorithm isn't the greatest to showcase to new people. Like it's getting better. It really has been getting a lot better in that sense, but you're not going to be viral every single video. So what can you do? You can create these relationships with referral partners on Instagram relatively easy through the DMs. So all I'm doing is I'm funneling people through the DMs, through my Instagram stories, and that's it. I have content there to show that, like, hey, I know what I'm talking about. I can talk about mortgages. I showcase Tango offerings and all of that good stuff. But that's not the real main driver. It's through stories and DMs. That's where you're going to get the business. So to really just touch on the process with the broadcast channel is I'm just following realtors. I do 10 an hour. So you're going to want to write this stuff down because it is a really simple model, but write it down. 10 people an hour. I don't want to go past that because If you do go past that, you can kind of go into Instagram jail, which I did maybe 2 years ago when I had someone like a VA doing this. I got into Instagram jail a couple of times. You don't want to do that. Just play it safe. 10 people an hour. And by the way, you don't have to do this through the whole hour. You just literally open your phone, you search a realtor like anywhere, go to it like one of your stories and go to like someone's story, click on that, go to their followers, follow 10 of their 10 realtors on in their followings. And all you have to do is just type in real in their friends and in their follower search bar. And you just click 10 people, follow, follow, follow. And from there, you just keep doing that every hour. And yes, like you're going to be busy. You're going to be underwriting, doing all this other stuff. So you might not have time to pop in your phone every hour, but whenever it kind of like comes to mind, just go on your phone. It takes 2 seconds. Then by the time you know it, the ratio right now for me, it used to be 30% of people I was following would follow me back. But I don't know why. I don't know if it's because like I optimized my profile a little better and maybe because I have more followers now, people see that as more legit. I have no idea, no reasoning to it. But now the follow back ratio is higher. So it's somewhere around 4 to 6 people. 40 to 60% of people that I follow are following me back. So if I'm going to that 10 as an example, that's 4 to 6 people out of those 10 people that I'm following are following me back. But now you're probably saying, okay, well, Tom, I'm going to have like all of these people I'm following. Like, what do I do with like that huge number of followings? Well, at the end of this, you can decide the timeline, like when you want to go back to this. But essentially, there's a method which I'll show in the future where you can print off a list of all of the people that aren't following you back and just unfollow them and do the same method. You don't want to go past 10, stick it to 10 an hour, same thing, same rules, and just go through that list and just do it. It's a bit more manual and tedious on the unfollowing perspective, but again, it's pretty simple. Like if you can look at the numbers, it's worth it. I know it's not all about the following, but if all of those avatars are realtors or all of those followers are your avatar, let's call it realtors, like, man, that's a lot of eyeballs on your content with your stories that you're putting out there. And you're going to be creating these conversations because not only are you going to get these followings, you're going to want to send a custom DM to them through a video message. And you as a listener, you may have got this recently. Like I'm doing this to everyone. Anyone that follows me, I'm sending a custom DM to you and it opens up the conversation, keeps you top of mind in their algorithm, and it's a snowball effect. So I'll probably leave it at that. The only other thing I'll add to this is part of like what I'm doing to stay consistent that I'm really, really excited for is in the past, like I did this for like huge sprints and then I would stop because I would get busy. But I've figured out a model to really stay consistent and just not go too hard right away. So what I'm doing is I'm just doing maybe between 10 to 15 custom DMs from those people that follow me on a daily basis. That's one of the non-negotiables that I'm doing. I've created this spreadsheet where it's a daily habit tracker for my non-negotiables. And we've given this to all of our agents with Tango. And what we're doing with it is every day, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., all of us, like all the agents in Tango, we call it our prospectors hour. We're showing up, we're going on Zoom, mics off, camera on. The first half hour, we're all banging out our non-negotiables. And it's going to be awesome because it's going to be holding all of us accountable because Brandon and myself, if we're not showing up, that ain't looking good to our agents. And also the opposite is true. If we notice like agents are dropping off, we're going to be reaching out to them and be like, hey man, like what's going on? Like, why aren't you coming to the daily prospectors hour? Like, what do you need help with anything? The first half hour, we're going to be banging out the non-negotiables. The second half hour, we're going through some quick wins, questions, Q&A, trainings, like what's working. And I'm so pumped for that. If you can tell, like I'm very excited for it. A lot of us are. And I think that's going to be the big game changer for me in the new year is staying consistent with this. And I can't wait to kind of report here going forward and what my followings are, how many people I have in my broadcast channel, how many leads, how many booked calls. Because at the end of the day, it's all about the business, right? Like it's all about the relationships, the book calls, the close apps, right? Or close mortgages. So I'll leave it at that. I'm going to report back in the new year with maybe some more stats for what's working. If you like this sort of like style, this content, just let me know. Follow me on Instagram, send me a message. I'm always happy to chat. Cheers.